Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sudden Wealth. I do hope you're having a wonderful day and you have some very good plans for the weekend. If you do enjoy the content, please consider dropping that like and subscribe. I did create some playlists depending on the topics that certain people prefer. So now it should be, if you go under the playlist, should be much more organized, which should be good for everyone, to find the content that they prefer the most. So, today I would like to talk a little bit about how did I find X, and which was the first project under my retirement bags, and Richard Hart himself. So I did find Richard Hart completely by mistake. I was watching a few of Harry Dent interviews, and there was one time when he was, in a stream with Richard. So I had no idea who Richard was, by the way. This was in, 2021 or so. And the funny thing was, when I looked at him, he struck me as an intriguing figure. And the first time I searched a little bit about him, I thought he was a complete scammer. To be very blunt, there's no other ways to put it. But I did note that he was actually quite good in debating, at least with Harry. Of course, by the way, maybe they don't remember this, but they made the bet at the end, in which, of course, Harry Dent advised to short the market and to basically go long TLT. So if you would have done that in the period that he was, and the bet was by December 2022, the S&P would be materially lower and bonds would be much higher. Of course, it's Harry Dent, so the opposite happened. TLT crashed, the S&P went up, and I think he never paid the $1,000 bet that they had, by the way. So Richard, if you by any chance listen to this, you should collect the $1,000 from him, because he never paid you. But in any case, so I came across him and I thought, okay, this guy's a complete scammer. Then I took notice of certain things that he said at the time, and that I did started to notice they were starting to happening, but nobody was giving him credit, which unfortunately it's very common, let's say in the social media or the YouTube world. So I didn't pay much attention to it, and what happened was actually pretty curious. He was predicting a bunch of exchanges which were very hot at the time: FTX, BlockFi, Celsius. The Celsius founder called him a scammer to his face, so called Richard Hart a scammer and called X coin a scam. And now Alex Machinsky is behind bars. FTX is bankrupt, and you know what the founder of FTX has done. And BlockFi is also bankrupt. And by the way, BlockFi used to be a sponsor of Peter McCormack, who is a very known Bitcoin maximalist. So this is the type of people we are dealing with. But I never understood, to be honest, the hatred for Richard. Like everyone, for example, if you're a Bitcoin maximalist, if you buy Ethereum, people will still call Ethereum a scam. So even almost a decade afterwards, they still call it a scam. So I'm used to that, but the level of genuine hatred in those people was mesmerizing. So I thought, okay, if either these people are wrong, or he is really, truly the biggest scammer in the history of crypto. So I then understood why it's such a level of animosity. You see, because Richard used to be a Bitcoin maximalist. He basically now, with Ethereum developing, he now said, quite rightly so, that Ethereum is better than Bitcoin on virtually anything. And if you know anything about the cult of Bitcoin, the Bitcoin maxis, there is something intolerable. You can never leave the cult. Otherwise, you'll be ostracized for the rest of your life. So X was supposed to be a scam. You're going to lose all your money. Then it was a Ponzi scheme, which is a stupid notion because so X inflates, and the rewards of that inflation, meaning more coins, go to people who have staked their coins, meaning have locked them voluntarily, keyword voluntarily, through an X amount of time, from 1 day to 15 years. Which made perfect sense, because if you actually have a background in finance or so, or you understand how banks work with certificates of deposit, savings account in Europe, for example, is pretty much the same thing. And it seemed to me, how can it be a Ponzi if there's no company in between? Meaning, why did Celsius fail, for example? Because you placed their money with them and they promised to do something with your money to give you more interest. And this works until new money keeps coming in. But then bear market comes and the money starts going out and there's not enough money for everyone, so the whole thing collapses. In the case of X, Richard can pass away, he can disappear like Satoshi did, he can do whatever, the code will still inflate the same, we'll still pay the same rewards, depending on time, amount of people staked, blah, blah, blah. So it cannot be a Ponzi scheme. Now, people were very concerned because he owned, or the origin address owned, a lot of the supply. I said, that's not necessarily bad. BNB ownership is incredibly centralized and the token has performed very well. Facebook, same story. Amazon, same story. Tesla, same story. And even in the past, Bitcoin, Satoshi used to own all the coins. And that's actually when the price performed the best. And from my understanding and from what I can see in public addresses, the origin address has never sold any coin on market, unlike the Ethereum Foundation and other projects where the founder sells. So, what did I do? I have been trained over the years, unfortunately, due to the countries where I've lived in the past, not only not talking about the US here, is that I've grown accustomed about not listening to what people say, but what people do. And basically, strip out any of the extravaganza, any of the noise, the flashiness, the flamboyance, and look at what the person is saying. Go check the data and, in some case, predictions, when it's something for the future, and see if he was right. So, for example, he predicted the 2017 top, he predicted the 2021 first top, and he was only wrong by 6% when we got 69,000 in November. He predicted a bunch of companies to go bankrupt, all of them went. So, in that sense, he predicted a lot of things that came true, okay? So that holds value. Secondly, is X price down? In my opinion, you should look at X on Ethereum plus X on PULSECHAIN. So when PULSECHAIN launched, whoever had X on Ethereum got copies of X on PULSECHAIN. So in my opinion, you should look at the price of both combined to make a fair assessment. And in that context, I think as of today is around 3 cents. I think the all-time high was 50 cents. People are saying, oh, there you go, it's a scam because it got down so much. Say, yeah. Bitcoin also went down 94% at some point. Ethereum went down 95% at some point. I think Avalanche went down 98 or something at some point. And Shiba Inu also went down 99% at some point. So what I'm trying to say here is just because, if you will, Amazon also went down 95% in the year 2000. So just because something goes down brutally doesn't mean there is a scam. And what I've seen is the majority of what he said has come true. I do understand that the marketing, the crazy in-your-face marketing doesn't work very well, but it also doesn't work very well. It works well and not very well at the same time. What do I mean? I think it works well in, my guess, certain parts of the US. It will work well in Dubai for sure. It will work well most of Asia, Singapore, etc. It will work poorly in Canada. It will work poorly in Northern Europe, particularly the Nordics. Why? Because their culture hates that kind of behavior. But not just from Richard Hart. There's no fascination with the rappers, like the way they dress, the bling bling, the cars, etc. In the Nordics, so the Scandinavian countries, is not very well seen. In Asia, particularly Dubai, but also India, etc., is actually very well seen. So that's my point. It depends on where you are. And people are very disappointed, for example, with the launch of PulseChain. To be honest, I'm not, because I believed in the project before. I believe in it now. So it actually is giving me the opportunity to establish bigger bags, let's say. So in my opinion, for me, it's fine. I don't share in any of the drama. And finally, if you look at Ethereum, Solana, other layer ones, and you look at the first 3 to 6 months, the performance is actually not that different. And if you look even at the X launch, the performance is also not that different. But the thing is, I think people were expecting that Richard would take them to Valhalla and to just go up 50x day one, and people who put 100K would now be millionaires. And that's not the case. So people get mad, people sell. It's part of the game. But in any case, what I'm trying to say here to conclude the video is everything that I've seen, and there's a documentary coming about Richard, the highest of stakes, coming in August 4 and 5 in Regal Theaters. I think there's been some discussions to take it abroad, so outside of the US. And I think you will have actually a good view of Richard. And if you do have some time to look through his previous videos and streams, you'll actually have a good view on who he is. Can I be wrong? Can he be a complete scammer? Can he completely destroy me? Can he? Sure. I don't think so. And I have all the reasons to not think that. However, anything is possible. So what I'm trying to say here is actually just to explain to you how I came across him. I must be the only guy who came across him because of Harry Dent. There must be so I have actually, if I do become a millionaire by investing in Richard's projects, I think I should send a thank you note to Harry, I guess, as weird as it sounds. And this was my journey. I mean, I spent hours and hours watching his streams and interviews, and in my personal opinion, I've concluded after doing all this, if you will, research, that he's right much more than he's wrong. And I get it, people are frustrated, we are in this consolidation period on the recovery year, we just came out of a brutal bear market, so people are all annoyed with patience to the lowest of limits. I get it, okay? So we will see, 2024, 2025, and by the way, it's possible that the projects can go wrong without being a scam. So we have a problem in crypto, which is every project that doesn't do well is immediately a scam. No, like a scam is when you say going to do things that you don't. It's when there is a rug pull. It's basically when you participate in an ICO and the developers take your money and leave. Those are scams. A project, for example, a company that starts business and for some reason goes bankrupt is not immediately a scam. It can go bankrupt because of a scam, that's true, but not all of them are scams. So people also get this, I think the word scam is thrown too lightly in the crypto world, but it's the world we live in, so there's no point in debating that. But in any case, after all the research I've done, I've came to my personal opinion is that he is a great founder. I think he's a very intelligent man. I think he understands game theory and marketing extremely well. Although some of the marketing techniques, I get why they cause so much controversy. The question is, do they work or not? I think to be seen. And I do believe at the end of the day, he's a good person. And I think he has I think he really wants to be adored by a lot of people and respected by a lot of people, and I think that plays a key role for him. And yeah, we'll see if my assessment of him is right or wrong. And yeah, guys, if you can catch up that documentary, see what you think, and I'll catch you in the next one.